Haribol. Jai Saprikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ji Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ji Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhana Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shringa Bhagavan Ki Jai. Jai Nityalila Pravishto Vishnupad Paramahansa Statara Sata Shri Srila Desi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Astatara Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mahabhagavat Srila Gaurkishore Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnav Sarvabhaum Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghuna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath Sara Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Swarup Damodar Roy Ramananda Adi Gaura Parshada Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sivo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Govardhan Dvarashavanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham Ki Jai. Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Dintaranam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahabhadanyaya Krishna Prema Pridayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gaura Trise Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta, Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Asto Tarasata, Sri Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Then I'm offering my same unlimited Dandavat Pranams and my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my most worshipable beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nitya Lila Pravishtom Vishnupad Paramahansa, Astatarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak, Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, and Nitya Lila Pravishta, Om Vishnupad Paramahansa, Asto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all of my Sri Rupanuga Guru Varga, and my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas and all the Vaishnavis. So, the day after tomorrow is a celebration for Ratha Yatra. Here in New Braj, we're going to be having a 3-day festival. So today is Friday. Then on Sunday is going to be a Ratha Yatra festival. We were not able to have one last year. So the cart of Lord Jagannath will carry their lordships, Sri Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and Sudarshan Chakra. And then there will be some celebration, some prasadam, some discussion, brief of Ratha Yatra. Then the next day on Monday is Sri Krishna Janmashtami. And Sri Krishna Janmashtami is practically the most important day in the whole universe. Why? Because Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna, appeared in our universe in this day of Brahma. In this day of Brahma. No other time in Brahma's full day. We already discussed how long is Lord Brahma's day in earth time, right? So his one day is equal to 4,320,000 years. One day of Brahma. And Krishna appears only once in the day of Brahma. And then, after his appearance, then he comes again as Lord Chaitanya, only once in the day of Brahma. See? So for our whole universe, this is the most auspicious day in the universe, because the Supreme Lord, from whom every incarnation has come, from whom the entire creation has come, from whom all living entities have come, he is come to this world. And we're going to be celebrating his Janma Ashtami, born on the 8th day after the full moon. And that full moon is Baladev Purnima. So we celebrated Baladev Purnima. And now we will celebrate the Ashtami, the 8th day after the full moon. And we will have a grand festival of Janmashtami on Monday. And of course, everyone will fast until midnight if they really want to get the benefit of Krishna Janmashtami and get full blessings. Then they will have to fast till midnight. And then there will be an Ekadasi feast. And then the day after will be the appearance day celebration by Nanda Maharaj, because Krishna was born at midnight on Janmashtami. So no one knew, practically. I mean, they knew, the Vrijvasis in the village of Gokul, but everyone was sound asleep from Yogamaya. And that's how Vasudeva was able to carry the Vasudeva expansion of Krishna there across the Yamuna, and come there and switch the baby with a baby girl and so forth. So, but the next day, early in the morning, Nanda Maharaj and the elderly Gopas and Gopis, they all came to see the newborn child of Mother Yashoda. And then Maharaj Nanda was completely captivated by the beauty of this child. And he became extremely joyful. And then he held a huge festival, gigantic festival, giving away thousands and thousands of cows and gold to the brahmanas and everything. Unlimited distribution. And that festival day is called Nanda Utsav, Nandotsav. Utsav means festival. It's a festival of Nanda Maharaj. So on that day, in the year 1896, our beloved Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he was born on that day. And his whole life was teaching all living entities how to be a pure devotee. And he's the one who brought the name of Krishna to every town and village, at least the beginning stages of the name of Krishna coming to every continent, every town and village. So on that festival day, we'll have a grand feast and celebration. Yeah. Oh, and there will also be a bathing on Janmashtami night of Krishna. Is it just Krishna or Radha and Krishna that you bathe?
I think we do both.
Yeah? Radha and Krishna. Are you sure? I think not. But anyway, we can find out.
We'll find out.
Okay.
You can do it every year, but
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to remember if, when I was there in Mathura, if the bathing was of only Krishna or of Radha and Krishna. Anyway, Radha and Krishna are one. Okay, so I wanted to continue to read the prayer that we were beginning to read yesterday, which is the prayer that Srila Prabhupada wrote on the Jaladuta on the 13th of, oh, I'm forgetting the date when he wrote it. Oh yeah, I also need a copy, because I'm reading from the book. Yeah, thanks. That's good that you thought of that. 381, I remember. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Krishna Tava Punya Bhai. So yesterday, Srila Prabhupada was glorifying his spiritual master, from whom the order came to bring this message to the whole world. So in the beginning of his prayer, he's also mentioning the name of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And he's giving all credit to him that he is the Mahant Guru. He is the great personality who is very, very dear to the son of Mother Sachi, that's Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And his service to Krishna is unparalleled. No one can compare his Krishna Seva. Yes, and in the whole universe, he is the Mahant Guru and Krishna Bhakti De Tai Tai. He is giving Krishna Bhakti. He is the one who is giving Krishna Bhakti to all the living entities here and there. Yes, and it is by his strong desire. His desire is so powerful that this should be brought to the whole world. And it is by that desire that the name of Gauranga Mahaprabhu will come all throughout the whole Western countries. And then, in all the cities and all the towns and all the villages on earth, then extending to all the seas, rivers, and streams, everyone will chant Sri Krishna Nam. Then he says that transcendental bliss will then arise, and in all directions there will be all directions will be conquered by the profuse mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is Prabhupada's prediction. He's predicting this will take place. He's on the ship. Nothing has happened yet. But he's predicting what will take place. Something happened now. Oh, darn.
No better.
I just had it full to 100%. There's something wrong with my battery on my computer.
You want me to bring the charger, Raj?
Yeah, it's in my room, plugged into the wall next to the window. That's weird. Oh, now I closed it. Okay, no need. Okay, I closed it and opened it, and it still says 100%. Anyway, okay. So Srila Prabhupada is making this prediction. He's predicting that by the mercy of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, his Guru Maharaj, this will go throughout the whole world, and the name of Gauranga will go everywhere. Everyone will chant the name of Krishna. Then he says, transcendental bliss will then arise, and all directions will be conquered by the profuse mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All those who are wicked, having been influenced by Maya, and who are distressed within this world, they'll become happy. The Vaishnava's desires will thus be fulfilled. Then he says to Krishna, this prayer is to Krishna. And he says, "O Krishna, although I have been ordered to accomplish this mission, but I possess no qualification to do it. And being very fallen and incapable. So since you are the wisest of all, now I beg for your mercy, so that I may become worthy." Then he says that if anyone, by receiving your mercy, if I obtain the treasured object of service to Sri Guru, and my life becomes thus successful, I will become joyful, and by good fortune, I will attain your association. So, we left off there yesterday, and now Srila Prabhupada is quoting a verse spoken by Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. This verse is a very important verse, which is, Srila Prabhupada chose this verse to represent his mood. So Prahlad Maharaj, in the 7th canto, 9th chapter, verse 28, he's praying this to Lord Nrsingadev. And Prahlad is saying, "Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama bikamam anuya prapatan prasangat kritvat masat sudarshina bhagavan grihita soham katam nuvishrije tavabritya sevam." So here he's telling, thus, by associating with material desires, one after another, I was following the general populace by falling into a blind well full of snakes. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the great sage Narada Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve the transcendental position similar to his own. So, how could I ever leave the service of your servant? Tava Britya Seva, the service of your Britya means servant. So just see Prahlad Maharaj's great humility. And Srila Prabhupada is feeling the same way towards his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He's feeling the same way that Prahlad Maharaj is feeling towards Narada Muni. And Prahlad is telling that my condition was that I was falling into this blind well full of snakes. It's a very dangerous thing. If you're falling into a well that is full of snakes, very dangerous, is it not? And I was following the general populace. Just like in human society, people simply follow what is the trend, what are people doing. So he says that I was associating with many, many different material desires, one after another. And thus, I was following the general populace, and then by falling into a blind well full of snakes. So that's how he's describing his position. And then he prays, my dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then, in my condition, in this blind well, I was falling into this well. But your servant, Narada Muni, he kindly came and saved me. He accepted me as his disciple, and he instructed me how to achieve the transcendental position similar to his own. So Narada Muni, most exalted personality. And he's the one who came, and Prahlad Maharaj is giving credit to Narada that he saved him. And therefore he says, so how could I ever leave the service of your servant? In other words, I'm dedicated for all of eternity. All of eternity. I am the servant of your servant Narada Muni. He's telling that to Lord Nrsimhadev. So Prabhupada is quoting that verse. He's feeling that way. Now, after that, Prabhupada continues with his Bengali composition, and he's saying, O Krishna, Tumi mor chirasati, bulia mayar lati, kayachi janma janmantare. So this means that, O Krishna, you are my eternal companion. Sati means companion. You are my eternal companion. And having forgotten you, I have suffered the kick of Maya lifetime after lifetime. So this is how humble Srila Prabhupada is. He's telling, you are my eternal companion. You are my eternal companion, O Krishna. But having forgotten you, I have suffered the kicks of Maya, kicking, lifetime after lifetime. So now I have the opportunity to serve you once more. Aji puna esu jog, jadi hoy joka jog, tabe pari tuhe mili pari. Now I have the opportunity to serve you once more. If I can receive a connection with you, then I will be able to actually meet with you. To meet with you, milibare. So now, here's the verse, which is the verse 9 of this prayer. Verse number 9. There's 10 verses total. So in this second last verse, Srila Prabhupada has given his internal vision of meeting with Krishna. Meeting with Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan. And he is saying to Krishna, Tomar milane bai, abar se sukapai, go charane guri deen bor. In your company, dear friend, Krishna, I will experience that same joy once again. I will wander all day long tending the cows. I will run throughout the many forests and roll on the ground. Oh, when will that day be mine? So this is Prabhupada's intimate expression to Krishna, how he wants to meet with him. And just to tell, this verse is interpreted in a couple of different ways. Because some persons like to say that in this verse, Srila Prabhupada, he's expressing his mood of wanting to be with Krishna as a cowherd boy. But when our Gurudev saw this verse, he said, he said that this is not specifically saying that he wants to be a cowherd boy. Gurudev said, the gopis, they're also wandering in the forests all the time, following Krishna's cowherding. And the gopis are also rolling on the ground in ecstasy, like that. So it's not only limited to the cowherd boys, to the sakhas, see? Also Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, he said there may be some mood in this, some mood, like Sakya Ras. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj interpreted that that could be because of the influence of Lord Nityananda, because Prabhupada was empowered by Lord Nityananda, and that kind of mood may have come up in him. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj never agreed that Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada is in Sakya Ras. He never agreed with that. And he told all of our acharyas are in Madhurya Rasa. You see, not only that, but they're the ones that write all the books, starting from the 6 Goswamis, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, all of Bhakti Vinota, all of them are in Madhurya Rasa. And who wrote so many books as Srila Prabhupada? At least his purports. So anyway, that's the 9th verse, and then he ends his prayer, the 10th verse, and he says, Aji se subidane tomar smarana belo baro asha daki lam thai. Ami tomar nitya das thai kori eta ash tumi bina anya gatinai. He says to Krishna, today that remembrance of you came to me spontaneously. Feeling great hope, I called out to you. Only because I am your eternal servant do I have so much longing. I have no refuge other than you. See? So how Prabhupada is expressing his separation mood while the ship is coming closer and closer to America. He's writing such a prayer, and this is the beginning of his, not the very beginning, but this is the beginning of his preaching in the West. So therefore he's made this prediction that by the mercy of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, this message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will go everywhere throughout the world. And that prediction of Prabhupada came true. We just read the prediction. This is in writing, his prediction, you know. So that's the prayer. Krishna Tava Punya Have Bai. And again, I'm explaining the first verse, because the first verse is explained by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, that here Srila Prabhupada is telling to Krishna in a friendly way, you see. And even the gopis also call Krishna, oh brother. Sometimes they call him like that, you see. So here, Prabhupada is telling to Krishna that, oh my dear friend Krishna, good fortune will be yours. Good fortune means punya. Punya means very good fortune. Krishna tava punya habibai. Oh my dear brother, my dear friend, good fortune will be yours, Krishna. Srimati Radharani will be pleased with you. That's your ultimate good fortune. If Srimati Radharani is pleased with you, and I know that you always want to please her, so when you perform this supremely virtuous act, which I will now convey, this I declare to you with utter conviction. So what did Prabhupada convey just now in this prayer? He conveyed how, by the mercy of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who ultimately is directly a servant of Sri Rupa Manjari in Goloka Vrindavan, and named Nayana Mani Manjari, and that personality is my spiritual master. Prabhupada is telling that to Krishna. And his order is that this message should be preached. That's why I'm coming. And I'm very incapable of doing this. And I'm very low and fallen. So therefore I need your mercy, O Krishna. So that's what Prabhupada is telling in the prayer. But he's telling in the first verse that if you help me, because I'm trying to fulfill the instruction of my spiritual master, who is the dearmost servitor of Srimati Radharani, then if you help me to assist his desire, then Srimati Radharani will be very pleased with you, O Krishna. Understand? You see? That's the meaning of this prayer. It's right from the beginning. Radharani Kushi Habe. Radharani will be pleased with you, Krishna. So Srila Sridhar Maharaj explained this. And this is the actual meaning of this prayer. The ISKCON translation is not accurate and correct. So this one is correct. Now, in the now it's not coming again. What is this? There's something with the function of the screen going off. I'll try one more time. It's supposed to just come on, it always comes on.
Do you want to find your charge?
You know, I have it on my iPad also, so I'm just gonna... Oh, now it came on. What is this nonsense? Nonsense, computer. You're so nonsense. Okay, so now after this prayer is the prayer that Srila Prabhupada wrote in Boston Harbor. Okay, when the boat was docked in America, when it first arrived, it went to Boston. And it stayed there like 24 hours. And that's where Srila Prabhupada first saw America, and the captain also came off of the ship and brought him for a little tour around the city so that he could see everything. And Prabhupada wrote that in his diary. But while he was on that ship, he wrote this prayer in Bengali. He wrote this prayer. And the title of this prayer is Markane Bhagavata Dharma. So Bhagavat Dharma means preaching Srimad Bhagavatam. Markane means in Western countries. Markane means Western countries. So he wrote this on September 18th, 1965, while he was on the ship in the harbor. Ship was not moving. So now he's telling in this prayer It's a little bit longer than the other one, but he's telling, Boro kripa koile Krishna adamer prati. Ki lagia nile heta koro ebe gati. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. So he's telling to Krishna, Boro kripa koile, Krishna adamer prati. Adham means very low. So he's calling himself this very low person, this useless soul, he's telling. Oh Krishna, you are so kind upon me. But ki lagiani le heta koro evigati. I don't know why you have brought me here. You brought me here. So now you can do whatever you like with me. I'm here. I'm in Boston. I'm in America. I've come here to execute this mission. But I don't know why you have brought me here. I'm such a low person. Then he says, Ache kichu karja taba e anumani. Nahe keno aniben e ugrastani. So here he's using the word ugrastan. You know what that means? You know what ugra nishringa means?
Oh, like very horrifying.
Yes, horrifying. So this horrible place in the West here where there's no dharma, there's no culture like that. But what he's telling to Krishna now in the second verse, he's saying, I guess that you must have some business here. In other words, you want to accomplish something through me, right? Otherwise, why would you bring me to this Ugrastan, this horrible place? Rajas Tamo. Now he's beginning to explain what is the nature of this Western countries. Prabhupada has never been to the West before. This is his first time out of India. And he's coming to New York City, Boston. And he's seeing, he's feeling, he's looking at the people. He's going to be describing that right now in this prayer. That he sees that the people are completely covered by passion and ignorance, the modes of nature. They're covered over. Rajas tamo guna era sabai achana. Achana means covered. So Vasudev kata ruchi nahe se prasanna. So he says most of the population here, and he's already gone ashore in the car, he's looked at the population, and he's able to see that most of the population here is covered by the material modes of ignorance and passion, tama rajas. They're absorbed in material life. They think themselves very happy and satisfied. And therefore they have no taste for the transcendental message of Vasudev. Vasudev Katha Ruchi. They have no ruchi for hearing about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So then he says, I do not know how they will be able to understand it, this message. Then he says, Tabe jadi taba kripa hoy ahoituki, sakali sambhav hoy tumi se kautuki. Now he says, but I know your causeless mercy can make everything possible, because you are the most expert mystic. He's telling to Krishna, Ki bhave bujale tara buje se ras, eta kripa koro prabhu kori nija bash. How will they understand the mellows, the rasa of bhakti and the bhavs and the moods? How will they understand this? Oh Lord, I am simply praying for your mercy, that I will be able to convince them about your message. So Prabhupada is praying for the empowerment. He says, Tomar ichai sab hoy maya bash, Tomar ichai nash mayar parash. O Krishna, all living entities, they have become under the control of what? Maya. How did they come under the control of Maya? By your icha, by your desire, by your will. So therefore, if you like, by your will, they can also be released from the clutches of illusion, Maya. Taba icha hoy jadi tadera udhar. Bujibe nishchay tabe kata se tomar. I wish that you may deliver them. I wish that you, he's praying to Krishna, please deliver them. And therefore, if you so desire their deliverance, then only will they be able to understand your message. Bhagavaner Katha se tava avatar. He says the words of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are your avatar. They are your incarnation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the incarnation of Krishna. So, dir hoya shune jadi kane bar bar. If a sober person repeatedly receives it with submissive oral reception, then he will be able to understand your message. Repeatedly. Hearing. Then he quotes the Srimad Bhagavatam 5 verses. 5 shlokas. Shrinvatam svakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantaksto hiyabadrani vidunoti suhritsatam nashta praishu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki tada rajas tamo bhava kama lobha dayaschaye cheta ektaira navidham stitam sattve prasidati. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnana mukta sangasya jayate vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarva samshaya kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvari. Prabhupada's quoting these 5 verses. I learned these verses. And I actually, the first time I went on parikrama with Srila Gurudev in 1994, on Prabhupada's disappearance day, he had me speak. And it was the first time I spoke in front of Gurudev. And I quoted these 5 verses. Gurudev became so pleased that I knew these 5 verses. And you know what? For all the rest of the years of his touring until he left the planet, he would call on me at most festivals when he would be introducing the Srimad Bhagavatam and to stand up and speak on these verses. Yeah. So here's the translation of these 5 important verses. Gurudev said, these 5 verses comprise the entire message of the Srimad Bhagavatam in these 5 verses. And the process, the method, how you will attain the perfection. Here it is. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, the super soul, in everyone's heart, and who is the benefactor of the truthful devotee. He cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effect of nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, they disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness, stitam sattve prasidati, and he becomes completely happy. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord, he gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced, all misgivings are cut to pieces, and the chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees the self as master. So now Prabhupada is saying about this, he's saying that that person who hears your message of Bhagavatam, he will become liberated from the influence of the modes of ignorance and passion. And thus all inauspicious things accumulated in the core of the heart, they will disappear. So how will I make them understand this message of Krishna consciousness? I am very unfortunate, unqualified, and most fallen. Therefore I am seeking your benediction so that I can convince them, for I am powerless to do so on my own. Somehow or other, O Lord, you have brought me here to speak about you. Now, my Lord, it is up to you to make me a success or failure as you like. Then he says, O spiritual master of all the worlds, I can simply repeat your message. So if you like, you can make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. And only by your causeless mercy will my words become pure. I am sure that when this transcendental message penetrates their hearts, they will certainly feel engladdened, and thus they will become liberated from all unhappy conditions of life. O Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. So if you have brought me here to dance, then make me dance. Make me dance. O Lord, make me dance as you like. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge. Bhakti nai, Vedanai, name kubdaro, Bhakti Vedanta nam ebe sarta koro. I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. And I have been designated as Bhakti Vedanta. And now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhakti Vedanta. Signed, the most unfortunate, insignificant beggar, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, on board the ship Jaladuta, Commonwealth Pier, Boston, Massachusetts, USA, dated the 18th of September, 1965. What a prayer. What a prayer by Srila Prabhupada. That's his mood in coming, exactly his mood. And because of that mood, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, you know what he said? He said, he made himself, speaking of Prabhupada, he made himself so empty of any other desire, other than this one single desire, to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. And in a very helpless way, he prayed to the Lord. And therefore, divine power had to descend, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said. And therefore, that's when he said to the devotees for the first time, I therefore proclaim him to be Shakti Avesh. That divine power, Shakti, has descended into him. And then when he was asked, which particular Shakti? Then he said, Nityananda Shakti. It cannot but be so, he said. So this is the prayer of Srila Prabhupada. Now he's arrived in America, although according to our Vaishnava calendar, he's still on the ship for this coming month, but we'll be reading some of his nectar and some of his diary, the New York diary, when he arrives. That will be later. After his arrival, we'll also read how he struggled alone, for the first year practically, and by Krishna's will, he became supremely successful. But even though he became so successful, that whole 12 years of his touring in the West, never one time did he claim that this success is mine. I am successful. Never one time he claimed that. He said, no, I am just an instrument. It is my spiritual master, my Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is doing everything like that. So Gaur Premanandi. Srila Si Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada's Jaladuta journey ki jai. Srila Prabhupada, the savior of the whole world ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Vancha Kalpataru.